what are you going to do? You're going to laugh or cry. And so, ouch, that actually hurts. But, I'm embarrassed. That's why I'm laughing.
Hi, I'm Megan with Bethel Budgets. I'm here because it's more than just math. At some point, you've probably built a budget. You've laid out your income, you've laid out your expenses, and thought it's simple math. I'll just stick to what's on the paper. But then life happened and your budget didn't work out. The reason? Because it's more than just math. That's where I come in. Let's figure this out together. Don't give up. You've got this.
Hi, welcome to Sinking Fund Saturday. Besides Transfer Tuesday, this is one of my favorite videos to make. This is one of my favorite budget tasks that I get to do. Sinking funds are so important and they're so healthy to your budget routine. Sinking funds help to strengthen your monthly budget. Once you get your monthly budget going and you've built yourself up an emergency fund, your next step would be to do your sinking funds. Sinking funds are where you're saving for something over time. So my favorite example is Christmas. You know it's coming. You know about how much you've spent in Christmases past, so set yourself a budget, divide that by 12 or however many months are left until Christmas, and start putting that much aside until Christmas. So then you have that budget and it's built and you have that amount of funds set up in time to do your Christmas shopping. Because if you spend $1,200 on Christmas presents, you can't just find that out of your monthly budget for December. That would throw you totally out of whack. And that's why people go into debt for Christmas, and then that debt rolls over and it just snowballs throughout the whole year. They can't pay that off. And then the next Christmas rolls around. It's just this vicious cycle. If you can save up and build yourself a sinking fund, then you can pay for your Christmas presents without going into debt. Same thing for other areas you could save for. If it's over $100, consider doing a sinking fund. If it's a yearly thing, consider doing a sinking fund. I do sinking funds for all of my insurance payments as well. So we do our insurance payments every 6 months. So I sinking fund that, and then I have that money to pay that insurance bill every 6 months. Personal property tax, that's another good one. We've also saved up for birthdays. You know that your kids are going to have birthdays. You know that you or your spouse, your parents, they all have birthdays, and you want to buy them a gift. You don't need to go into debt to do that. You know it's coming. Save up a little money every single month until you have that budgeted amount met, and then you can buy that gift without going into debt. So sinking funds strengthen your monthly budget. You're not going to be feeling like you have an emergency. You're not going to be feeling like you have all of this debt hanging over you all the time. You're going to be ready to go. And it's just a little bit here and there. Now my list, when you see this, don't freak out. My list is very extensive because I've been doing this a long time. Anything that's ever surprised me, anything that's yearly, anything that's over $100, it's all gone into my sinking fund list. Sometimes I'm putting away $1.12 a month to save up for this thing, but it's in there, one, so I don't forget it, and two, because it prevents fights. Like there's a Nintendo subscription in here. I think it's $30, but whenever that would come out, I'd be like, did you buy a video game? I'm yelling at my husband, did you buy a video game? That wasn't in the budget. But it's this yearly subscription thing that if I would just remember that it was there, that we wouldn't fight about. So now it's in my sinking fund list, and I know that it's there, and I know that I have the money for it, and it doesn't surprise me. And for that more than just math piece, it gives my husband and I peace of mind that we're prepared for it and we don't have to fight about it. So let's jump into my sinking funds. If you're new here, click that subscribe button, and then in the comments below, let me know that you're a new subscriber so that I can personally welcome you to my channel. I'm really glad that you're here, and I hope that you find these videos helpful and that you join us and start budgeting with us and doing these monthly budgets with us every single month, so you have found a good and supporting community for you to grow in your monthly budget routine. So let's jump into my sinking funds list. In this spreadsheet, you can see this is the list of sinking funds that I have. Everything is on here, all my kids' birthdays, anything over $100, anything that happens yearly, and then all of the months that they're due, how much I need to save for that thing, and whatever the starting balance was, maybe that's left over from last year, maybe I've gotten some seed money for that somehow. And then these are automatically calculated. The amount to save is right here. The current balance would be next to talk about, and it is automatically calculated based on these numbers that go in and out over the months of the year. So these are lump sum sinking funds. These are things that I'm paying into or putting money into and taking money out of throughout the year. So maybe I buy a Christmas present in October, but technically that sinking fund isn't due until December. So I've got some subtractions in October, but I've also got additions as well. So that's why that looks that way. So this is calculated based on how much is going in and out throughout the year. And then the amount to save, it tells me how much is left until I hit that needed balance. And then the months till due is based on today's date versus the date that it's due. So it tells me how many months I have left to save. This monthly amount column tells me how much I need to put aside every single month to be prepared and meet that goal by the month that it is due. So if we scroll over here, you can see through this year, I've put money in and taken money out, but we're gonna work on June today. Now, I don't have a lot to put into June. Today is the day where I would be putting money into my sinking funds. This video is gonna be a little bit different because my May was totally out of control. You can watch my May monthly budget closeout video. We had done a lot of crazy spending. There's a lot of reasons why, and we ended up being over budget. So I had to take some money out of my sinking fund. So we're gonna be doing some rebalancing today. And then I've got just a little bit to put into sinking funds. So we're gonna do some rebalancing today. I had a total of $208.26 to put into sinking funds today based on my Transfer Tuesday video, which you can go watch and see how I got all of those numbers and how I came up with that and where all of that came from. I've got $208.26 to put into sinking funds. However, I've taken out of sinking funds because we made progress on the basement. I had a bunch of money in my basement sinking fund, which is actually on the next tab over, but it is right here, finish the basement. So 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now, our basement flooded, and we've been doing it ourselves, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there between when we can get time to do stuff. But we got to a point where we couldn't do anymore because my husband and I, we could not do the mudding and taping, but the job wasn't quite big enough for any contractor to take it on. Well, we hired 4 contractors, but they would never show up. So we finally found somebody to do it. And over the past couple of weeks, he's been down there mudding and taping, then he's painting. We've got floorboards now. There are doors in the basement. They're about to be installed. Like, we're making progress. We're gonna have a basement before too long. I'm so excited. But anyway, so we've been transferring money out of that sinking fund to pay for some of those things. And then just the fact that I was totally out of whack in May and we overspent, so we had to transfer some things out. So to offset that, so I'm not transferring back and forth, what I've done is taken the amount that we had to transfer out that we didn't plan on, which was $194.58, from the amount that I'm putting in, which is $208.26. So $208.26 was the amount that I was going to transfer into sinking funds based on my Transfer Tuesday for June. However, we have $194.58 that I had to transfer out to balance things out after our wacko month of May. So that gives us $13.68 that we get to apply to our June sinking funds. I'm laughing. It's not funny. That's not good. That's not enough. It's gonna stress me out, but I'm laughing because, you know, what are you gonna do? You're gonna laugh or cry, and so ouch, that actually hurts. But you know, I'm embarrassed. That's why I'm laughing. But we'll get there. It'll be okay. I'm gonna still go through my process, and we've tightened the ship down for June, so hopefully our July sinking funds will be so much better. I tell all my budget babes, one of our core values is that I value openness and I value honesty, and that's what I'm gonna be with you guys, open and honest. And if I only get to transfer $13.68, even though I planned like $600, that's fine. It's fine. Life happens to everybody. We are all about the more than just math moments here. And you get to see that I'm human just like everybody else. Ideally, what I would do is I'd start at the top and I'd just plug in all of these amounts into the plus column because I'd have all of this money to transfer in, but I don't. And if you've watched my other sinking fund videos, you would have heard that we had to completely rebalance some things. And so I've been just going through the months and looking to make sure that I'm prepared for the next month coming up. So June current balance, these were all met. I've taken things out. So next month would be July, and amount to save. So we need to make sure that we are all set up for July, because July is coming in just a few days. So we're gonna rebalance some things while we're here together. So I hope that this doesn't confuse you. I'm gonna do my best to explain this. What I've got here is a bunch of sinking funds that are due in July that are not met yet. And I've only got $13.68 to apply to these things. So Google storage, that is met. That's a bill that's due. The Nest, I need to put $20 into that. That's an actual bill that's due. I don't think this is actually due in July. I don't think that the van, oh, the van is 2025. Okay, so we can skip the van. AAA, that is fully funded. The oil change is fully funded. Fresh Time Vitamin sale is a want, not a need. So we've got clothing, that's a want, not a need. So we're gonna take some from that and move it up. So I'm gonna do some math that hopefully you can follow along with. So first, I'm gonna take this, which one was not met? This Google Nest here. I'm gonna put this $13.68 in there. So I need $6.32 more cents to meet that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that there. And I'm gonna take that $6.32 out of clothing. Okay, so what else is not met? This is due in 2025, I don't have to worry about that. This is met, this is met. This is a want, not a need. Want, not a need, want, not a need. Car insurance premiums, okay. That, we need to finish filling that up for July. So we need $168 more. So I'm gonna put $168.64 in there, and I'm getting that out of clothing. Because again, that's a want, not a need. We're okay. We don't need to buy any new clothes right now. So I'm gonna take that out of there. So what I'm gonna do is then change that number. So that's 632 plus 168.64, making that negative 174.96. There we go. Okay, that's met. Family vacation is in July. What else did I have that was a want, not a need? School clothes. School clothes I've done already. So I'm gonna put this remaining clothing and school clothes down here into family vacation to get us a little bit closer. Now the family vacation, I'm gonna talk about in just a second. So that's 62.43. So I'm gonna take this 779 plus this 54.64, that's 62.43, and I'm gonna add that to family vacation, and then I'm gonna take it out of here. So 174.96 plus 779, 182.75. So that is minus 182.75. Okay, and then I'm gonna take out this 54.64. Okay, so I'm just moving things around my sinking funds to make sure the bills that are actually due, or the big stuff like this family vacation, are actually gonna be taken care of. So we didn't quite meet this family vacation for $3,000, but I'm also not worried about that too much because we have July still. So this vacation we're going on is in the middle of July. Now everything is pretty much paid for already. So the condo is paid for. This is gas to get us down there, groceries, and any outings we want to do. So $3,000 was an arbitrary number. That was just going to be, okay, $3,000, here's our budget. We're just not going to spend over this, and there we go. So we're actually going to Florida, and we weren't going to go to Disney. We weren't planning on doing that. As a family of 6, that would be super expensive. We did it a couple years ago, and we're just gonna wait. Maybe in a couple years we'll try and do that again when we can save a little bit longer. So I'm not disappointed with $2,429 for a budget to spend for our family vacation. it's not like we're not going to get to go because I'm $600 short. Everything's pretty much already paid for. That's just going to be our budget for spending money. And hopefully we don't spend that much anyway. Okay, so I think that pretty much takes us through July. Everything that I needed to be met for July is still met. Hallelujah, we are in good shape. So June was covered, and actually we could keep going because June, let's see, did I not get an oil change in June? I'm gonna leave that in there because I didn't get an oil change, or maybe it just hasn't come through yet. I need to check on that. My husband usually does that. I don't know. So I'm pretty sure I'm due for an oil change. So I'm gonna leave that money in there. Duolingo subscription surprised me. I thought it was $119 and it was $199. So I was $80 off on that one. So I have to adjust that for next year. Father's Day, we planned $200 and only spent $129. So I have $70.77 left. And because I was so off, and that did come out, did that come out in June? Did that come out in May? Oh, it came out in May. So I'm going to change two things here. I'm going to change this due date to May of 2025 so that next year I will have saved up enough. And then also I'm going to take this $70.77. Well, I thought about taking this $70.77 and moving it up to that Duolingo to cover that, but I think it would be wiser to move it down to something that I'm going to have to pay for in August. Let's see where we stand for August. I don't think any of our August sinking funds are met yet. So I'm going to take, this is an actual due date, not a due date. Birthday, school supplies. I'm going to put it on this actual bill. So I'm going to take this $70.77 off, negative 200. And then I'm going to put that $70.77 down here for this subscription. Okay, so we're closer to August. So that is how you rebalance your sinking funds when all things go wrong for the month of May and you only have $13 to put into the month of June. So we just had to rebalance some things and move some things around, but thankfully, we had a little bit of money to move around, and you just got to think about what's your wants and what's your needs. What did I actually already take care of, and what can be pushed off a little bit later. Yeah, so that is how I balance my sinking funds. I hope you have some sinking funds. If not, get started. Pick 1 or 2 or 3 things that you can start saving for so that you're prepared. Strengthen that emergency fund, strengthen that monthly budget, and it really, really will help. Keep going. You've got this.